Okay. Now, why can't I see myself? And it's recording. Stop the video and then start it. There we go. Here we are. Oh, look, we have people showing up. So happy. That's so great. Hi, my friends, my wonderful friends. Welcome, everybody. Now I'm going to click on this hand. Oh, they put their hand down. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Does anyone want to let me know if you can hear me all right? You can just type in the little chat and let me know you can hear me. Thank you, Kathy. So this is this is for Kathy's benefit and for everyone's, because Kathy says that I show up in all these interesting places and conduct our webinars, and so I hope this doesn't disappoint, because here we are, we're gathered here at Mass General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm in room 740 in the Lunder building because my beloved had brain surgery on Monday, and we're still here, and he's participating off camera. I'm trying not to get him on camera because he's not ready to get on camera yet. But anyway, here we are. Here you all are. Thank you. Esther says she can hear. So our topic for tonight is living a quantum life. So I might ask for a little more participation tonight than I have in the past. If you have a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, or if you can have one nearby, go ahead and get that. Because I'd like for us to spend some time in our direct experience of the quantum. And I've been doing a lot of writing since we've been here. I've made some, I don't like to call them goals. I don't like goals. I've made some choices, or I've been feeling into things that really excite me, like what just really juices me. And writing is something I've talked about, thought about. I've even written about writing. And now I'm deciding that it's something I'm actually putting time into, like steady time. I've also upped my commitment to myself for meditation time. So I'm spending a good bit of time every day in meditation. And then I've also made a decision around my movement practices. And yoga is now like a regular daily activity for me, as well as walking. And I teach indoor cycling. So that's part of it too. But the yoga practice and the walking practice and even the writing practice are all part of the meditation for me. Everything has this quality to it of meditation. And now, why did I even bring that up? I think I brought that up because I'm going to be asking you to ask yourself. Thank you, Corinne. Thank you for your healing graces. Thank you so much. I think I brought up these, kind of stepping more fully into the things that feel really good, because living a quantum life is that possibility. It's acknowledging that we are in consistent, never-ending contact with possibilities. And, possibilities are exciting. Every gambling institution is based on this idea of possibilities, and people get very excited. It's easy to feel excited about the possibilities. And we can really run ourselves into a ditch if we spend too much time considering possibilities that don't feel good. And a lot of us call our thinking, the things that we spend our time thinking about, 73,000 thoughts that we think a day, 95% of which are repetitive. Much of that stuff is thought about possibilities that we don't want. Yeah, isn't that curious? So we all are living quantum lives. I'm bringing up, living a quantum life is the penultimate topic, because living a quantum life, like knowingly, choosing possibilities knowingly, is the only step to embodying, enjoying a spirit-guided experience with your well-being, with your fitness, with your nutrition, with your choices for how you manage your energy. Consciously and knowingly living a quantum life is the step that you take in order to dwell in the realm of real exciting possibilities when it comes to your energy. Because what's fitness anyway? What is it? What's fitness? What's wellness? Wellness is an affirmation of abundance. That's what wellness is. Wellness is energy, plenty of energy that's being, directed and focused and used in a way that feels great. That's what wellness is. Wellness is energy flow toward some things that feel great to you. That's all that wellness is. It isn't, it's not the exercise that does the work. It's the energy. Exercise is the thing that we give ourselves in order to move the energy. So as my yoga teacher says, it's not the pose, it's the experience. It's the doing, the experience that That's what we do it for. Most of us have had the experience of exercising, saying something like, okay, for the next 6 weeks, I'm going to walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes, or I'm going to do 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups, and I'm going to walk up and down the stairs, or whatever. We choose some activity and we say we're going to do it. So why is it that by the third day, sometimes it never happens, but why is it that very quickly after declaring I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, we stop? And you know what, Corrine, I'm so glad you're here, because I remember you posting in our Facebook page that you have joined gyms or joined exercise classes or whatever, and then either never gone or stopped going right away. And, why is that? So one of the things that we're going to understand, we're going to stand under, we're going to allow to rain down on us, the understanding is why is it that, and I'm kind of giving the answer away by asking it this way, but why is it that when we decide ahead of time what something is, we stop doing it? Like, here's why. The minute I've already decided I'm doing this, this is what I'm going to do, this is how it's going to go, this is how long it's going to take me, this is how many I'm doing, blah, blah. Because we are creators. So get with that. You're a creator. You're not a body. You're not a victim. You're not even a person. That too is a creation. You're a creator. Your energy. Woo! It's so exciting. Your energy. You are energy. And because you are a creator in the act of creation, whenever you decide ahead of time exactly what you're going to do, you, creator you, gets eternally bored. You don't like that. See, the way creation works is that it's unpredictable. It's beyond what you currently know. If you knew it, it wouldn't be creating. It would be repeating. And repeating is what it sucks the fun. The fun sucking comes from the repeating of something that you already know. Why do we like to, watch a game? Why? What's so great about watching people play tennis or something? Well, it's because we don't know what's going to happen. And it's energy moving. We love that. We love energy. And we love not knowing. Just get with that for a second. We think we love knowing. Like, we keep trying to make a world where we know everything. Everything's predictable. Everything's comfortable. Everything if we keep our doors locked, and if we fold our underwear, and if we get good grades, and if we eat the right food, and if we have the right friends, and if we know the answers to the quiz, then our life should be good, right? Right? If you have a certain income and you drive the right car, shouldn't that mean that your life is good? So is that true? You tell me, is that true? If you have all those things all lined up in a row, does that mean are you enjoying your life? And the answer is no. That might be a kind of safety, But all of those things could change at any minute anyway. And most of the people who've lined things up that way are either rigidly, doggedly trying to hold things together and feeling kind of, a little exhausted and weary in trying to hold those things together, or they are just flat out miserable and they're not enjoying their experience. They're trying to hold the pose. They're going to the yoga of life thinking that it's a series of poses, and that if their pose looks like the picture in the book, then they should be having a good yoga pose. They should be having a good yoga practice. But it's not about how the pose looks. It's about the experience of the energy in the pose. So the point here is that we like to be what we actually are, and we are quantum creators. Quantum is possibility, and we have infinite possibilities. There are infinite possibilities. There are infinite possibilities. When I collapse infinite possibilities into 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups every morning for the next 6 weeks, my entire energy field is like, oh no. It's like, no. So I end up forcing and cajoling myself, and often in order to make myself do that, I give myself an extra treat, like a snack or a milkshake or 2 milkshakes or a milkshake and fries, and then a milkshake, fries, and a burger, and then milkshake, fries, and a burger twice. And then in order to make myself be something I'm not, in order to force myself into this box that's already been decided what it is, I have to balance that predictable, it's dead. That energy is the energy of the Newtonian physics. Newtonian meaning subject and object, all backwards looking. So Newtonian physics, as opposed to quantum physics, Newtonian physics came from the idea, it was the idea that underlines Newtonian physics, is that we live in a mechanistic world, meaning it's a machine. So it has a predictable quality to it, which means that once something gets started, it's the trajectory, what happens to something is already set. So there's no creation in that system. And when we try to live as if our experience here is Newtonian, when we try to live according to algorithms and actuary tables, and if you're 35 and you're a non-smoker and you're married and you have no history of this or that, then this is what should be happening, and this is blah, blah, blah. If we try to live that way, we experience what Dr. Martin Luther King called a psychological death. Your body might be here, and people might be able to say hi to you and you say hi back to them, but you're not there. The joy, the giddy up, the oomph, the woohoo, that's not there. And if that's not there, then you are withdrawing the creator from the experience. And so if anything happens that's out of the plan, there's often very little energy available to respond to that experience. And so we end up going deeper into the Newtonian, which is to react. React. which is what the Newtonian model is all about. It's about a series of reactions. Something happens, and then this thing happens in reaction to that thing, and then the next thing happens in reaction to that thing. And once we go into reaction, as we have done together many times, we've looked at this, the nervous systems, and our nervous systems are rest, digest, restore, and growth and repair nervous system, which we absolutely adore. It's such a great place to be able to access all the time. Yahoo. And then our very useful and functional in small bursts nervous system of fight, flight, freeze. And that is the one that reacts when we think something has gone horribly wrong. We get fired from the job, the mortgage forecloses, the house burns, the whatever. When we have unforeseen circumstances, which to the creator part of you is why you're here. You're not here to foresee things. You're here to fully open to what is present. It's the most exciting and the only way to live. Everything else is going to bring you into some degree of imbalance because we're trying to control things that we can't control. So here's what I'd like for you to do. Let's first, I hope you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. Do you have a piece of paper, a pencil, pen? Okay, they're up there. All right. So I want you to settle yourself, please. Cozy hat. And we're going to breathe in and breathe out. I'm asking you to find your deep breath, the breath that massages the viscera. I'm just putting this on because my head's a little cold. All right. So deep breath, that means the belly receives the breath. The pelvic bowl receives the breath. The side ribs. So continue with that full inhale and begin lengthening the exhale, but I want to tell you more about your inhaling breath so that you can really milk it. That inhaling breath is actually going to open the belly, the ribs, and it's going to come into your armpits. So one of the ways you know you're basking in the depth of that inhale is you'll feel it in your armpits. And you know what is so cool about us accessing breath is that it's like cleaning the whole car all at once. You don't have to do one piece at a time. Just with that full deep breath and that beautiful release, that exhaling breath. Keep breathing here. You're getting into your lymph nodes doing this breath. You're expanding the space so that your heart and your lungs can open themselves. You're toning the muscles of the abdominal wall. You're massaging the viscera. So you're aiding with digestion. Keep breathing deeply. Close your eyes. Don't make it a pose. Have an experience right here. You are giving oxygen to the adrenal glands and the kidneys, which sit in the back of the body above the pelvic bowl. That's a part of the body that we overwork. You know, we're often in that fight, flight, freeze. So we're using those adrenals a lot. Right now, with this deep breath, you are returning energy to a place in your body that is giving a lot of energy. You're allowing this column of energy that goes through the spine, through your deep breath. You're pressing up against the spine and you're enabling the energy of the spine to move with more vigor. With this deep breath, you're allowing the brain to be showered with oxygen. With this deep breath, you're giving permission to all the systems in the body to celebrate. It's like a welcoming. With this deep breath, you are opening to a quantum experience. With this deep breath, you are multiplying the possibilities to which you can become available. With this deep breath, you are releasing the reactive mind and you're moving deeply into the receptive mind. With this deep breath, you are creating new experiences. With this deep breath, you are releasing the past. You're letting go of old cells. You're letting go of old air. You're moving energy. You're releasing the past with this deep breath. That's how important this is, that we breathe. So move now into an area that you can, it takes, you know, it's not just like in one spot. Your heart is, it's a pulsating energy field. So soften that, however large it is in your experience, whatever space that you feel it occupies, allow yourself to soften that space so that it becomes more porous. Porous meaning permeable, so that the breath that you are cultivating, this incredibly nourishing, deep, full breath, is finding a like a resonance with the energy of heart. And the energy of heart is, oh, it's so beautiful and delicious. The energy of heart is the intelligence of quantum. It's the energy of heart is the access place to the quantum intelligence. So we have been taught, please breathe, softening the heart. Allow the breath to be in and out of this heart space. As I speak, you're breathing deeply in and out through this heart space. We have been taught in our culture that intelligence is something that comes from this part of our body, from the brain. And when science began to measure the energies from various parts of the body, they found that the energy emanating from the heart was I want to say 50 times greater than the energy from the brain. And then they began to find that there were a huge network there was a nervous system in the heart. There were all kinds of connections that originate in our heart energy that are transmitting information to the brain. Not the other way. Now, it does work the other way around, but there's more coming from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart. This area is the mothership. This area is the doer. But if we start with what do I do, if we start with 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups, there's no intelligence. There are no possibilities. There's no joy. There's no energy. So rather than start with what I do, we soften in the heart and we breathe in and out of the heart with that amazing life force, and we begin to cultivate a momentum. And this momentum is now taking the size, the shape, and the energy of your heart. And finally, like the cherry on top here, hope your eyes are closed. The cherry on top is going directly into possibilities, into things that feel so good to you, that when you think of them, that when you contemplate them, they add the zing. They just add another layer of energy and joy. So go into that, please. Allow yourself to experience a thought or a memory, an image, something that you just love. Just allow it. Say that. You can say, I allow it. Often when I'm having that experience, I smile. Like when I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise in a minute, I often smile while I'm doing this exercise. So I'm hoping that you'll have the same experience. And Rosalind, thank you so much for your comment that your favorite days are when you have an open day and you don't know how you're going to live it. That is so right on. Those are the best days ever, 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 ever. And it doesn't mean that you don't plan. If you have a plan, like if you have to do things, great. But why not stay open to things going in a way that you didn't expect or plan or decide or choose? Or why not just stay open to the possibilities that anything could happen? Not like anything yucky, anything really, really cool. Because that's what we get when we stay open and we stay in quantum, and you keep that breath going and you allow your heart, that intelligence of your heart, to tell you, to give you clues and signs so that you hear your heart speaking and you trust it. So take your paper and pencil out now. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. And I'm asking you to write down the things that you love doing. You know, and when I say that, I mean, it could be anything. It could be you love how it feels to walk into a really cool retail store that has really cool, that's so set up so well and where it smells good. It might be that what you love is having, like really beautiful conversation. It might be that you really love the feeling of, anticipating a really good meal. You might love um, listening, just being the one who just listens. You might love nature and a spot, a particular way that you enjoy nature. You might be the one that likes to walk in the full moon. So you might like um, driving across country. You might like bringing surprises. Some people love to bring surprises to others. You might like sending cards in the mail. Take 2 minutes here and just list what you really like. What brings you into that heart love space? What just brings up your true intelligence? So go ahead and write. You got 2 minutes. I'll be the designated breather. One more minute. All right. So you can add to this later, but just kind of pause. Close your eyes. Feel. What does that feel like to dwell in that space? Open your eyes now and enter onto that page underneath things you love, how that felt when you just went into your heart center and felt how it feels. Just put some adjectives there. Awesome. All right. So I don't want to give you whiplash, but we're going to investigate and write down a list. Take a couple minutes. This list, and you can put this, like if you put one of those lists on the left, you can put the other one on the right. So kind of divide your page. But this list is the list of activities that you might do at your job, at home, in your community, with your family. This is the list of activities that you do currently that don't feel good. You might be doing them from a sense of obligation. You might be doing it because that's part of the, you gotta do this part. This is what has to happen. You can't have this thing without that thing. These are things that when you're doing this activity, you're becoming aware that it's like there's a sense of drag. Like if you are trying to go fast and there's someone holding on to your backpack and you're trying to run and they're holding on to something and you're trying to pull them along. Activities in your life that feel like somebody's holding onto your backpack. You're trying to move forward, but there's just that sense of drag. There isn't that flow. You don't enjoy the feeling of this activity. So I want you to just make a list. We'll start right now of activities that aren't in your highest and greatest. They just don't make you flow. I'll be the breather. I mean, I want you to breathe too, but I'll breathe for everybody. One more minute. And look all around, all areas of your life. Where does that sense of drag show up? All righty. So you can put your pen down for a moment and close your eyes and feel. Feel the energy of that. And underneath that list, I want you to write some adjectives that describe the feeling of that drag. Okay. All right. So thanks. Rosalind asked a question. She asked if we can talk about being in the zone versus feeling good. And I suspect, Rosalind, you asked that question while we were doing the first list, right, of feeling what feels really good. So being in the zone it's an integrated, non-personal experience. Feeling good is, I call, conditional. So feeling good is great. There's nothing wrong with feeling good. Feeling good is awesome. Feeling good also means that you can feel bad. Being in the zone, when we've been in the zone, it hasn't always been under easy circumstances. It's always, however, an experience beyond the personal sense of self. The experience of the zone, once we are allowing the sense of the personal to fall away, what we're left with is the quantum. It's the field, the energy field. That's what we're left with. So the zone is another way of saying quantum, all possibilities. And all possibilities and my personality aren't present at the same time. When I enter this realm of all possibilities, I leave my personality at the door. My personality is a collapse of the quantum and all possibilities into a very finite, specific, and conditional condition. Does that make sense to everybody? That our personalities, because they're based on the past, like, I like chocolate. Well, where did that come from? Well, that came from the last time I had chocolate, and the time before that, and when I was little, my mother said I like chocolate. So that's my personality. It's a historical record. When I'm entering quantum, when I'm in the zone, I might be on mile 24 of a 26-mile run and my feet might be bleeding. If I enter the zone, I no longer am aware that my feet are bleeding. I'm aware of being aware. I'm just awareness. I'm just allowing everything to be, and I'm no longer collapsed into a little whiny person who's saying, I can't do this. So feeling good belongs to the realm of the conditional. The zone, and this is just my take on it, the zone belongs to the realm of the unconditional. So, okay, good. And apparently, Rosalind, that's your experience as well. And you're super welcome. So what I'd love for us to do is to enter onto the chat, look at your two lists. So you have the list where you are in that place. You are in that good feeling place. And now this is I just said good feeling. This is a place that is like the launch pad. This is the place where if you were entering the zone, if you were going to go beyond yourself, these are some of the prerequisite energies and activities that you could engage in that would help you to more easily access it. So I want you to look at a couple of those activities and then a couple of the words that you use to describe them. And I want you to enter those onto the chat. So I want everybody to just give us one example of something that you entered in that first list, and then one of the adjectives that you used. And I can enter yours. And oh, wow. I am in zone when I paint. Totally. And Yule wrote room to expand. When there's room for him to expand and the way he feels is calm and open. And Rosalind said, I drag when I'm doing chores to help someone in recovery. Kathy says, the good feeling is conversations that build. Corrine says, peaceful versus annoyed. Kathy saying, creating spaces feels creative and energizing. So I'm going to point something out about the things that we put on our first list. What I notice about them, and it's going to become even more apparent when I ask you to start entering the things from your second list. Actually, let's enter something similar from the second list. So one of the aspects that creates drag, and then one of the adjectives that you use to describe how drag feels. Okay. So I'm doing things from Yule's list. I'll put one in. So hopefully I was clear. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to enter one thing from the drag list and one of the feelings that we got from when we felt how we felt. Okay. Drag feels like resentment, yes. Grandma Esther says, listening to bright people talk about matters of great significance is in her happy place. Kathy says, thinking about making dinner makes me feel vacant and bored. Grandma Esther says, asking for people to go to the post office is on her list, is on her drag list. And Esther, I would love to hear adjectives that describe your drag list. So I'm just scrolling through our responses, and what I want us to notice is that the first list that we did, the list that comes from the heart, things that light up the heart, all of these things that light up the heart. Thinking about organizing my room makes me feel paralyzed. Everything that comes from the heart has an intangible quality. It's primarily non-matter. It's not in the realm of Newtonian. So we talked about painting. I feel expanded when I paint. Conversations that build, creating spaces, listening to people's minds. These are all things that are they can't be objectified. They are inspired, their spirit, their energy. They're based in energy. When we look at what is on our lists of drag, almost everything in the list of drag has an objective quality. It's all Newtonian. So doing chores to help someone in recovery, forcing events into defined time frames. So everything that shows up on our drag list comes from three areas. It's body, environment, and time. Those are the three elements that constitute a sense of drag in our experience. Esther asking people to go to the post office. People's bodies have to go through an environment in time in order to get something. Making dinner makes me feel vacant and bored. Thinking about having the body have to do this thing in order to get that thing done. Thinking about organizing my room makes me feel paralyzed. Well, here's what Martin Luther King would say to you. That you are maladjusted, and that you should be so glad that you are maladjusted, because essentially you are not a Newtonian, you're not an object. So I'm saying Martin Luther King would say you're maladjusted because you cannot seem to adjust yourself to being an object, to treating yourself as an object in a world of objects. That's why the things that you listed that caused you the feeling of drag all had an objective quality. They all were about time. They were all about your environment. They were all about your body. You are maladjusted because that is not your reality or your truth. And it doesn't mean that we don't honor this three-dimensional experience. You know, that wouldn't work if we tried to deny it. It's just that instead of trying to caterpillar your way through this experience, we're being invited to butterfly our way through. So a caterpillar becomes a butterfly by dissolving and constituting itself. And in the Bible, that would be called transfiguration. It's not even transformation, it's transfiguration, in which something objective dissolves and it reorganizes into something spiritual. And that's essentially when we move from that drag list and we say, okay, I'm not interested in moving as a body in an environment in time. And we choose instead to come from that heart intelligence. We are reconstituting, we're shifting the whole premise of what we know ourselves to be. So we're moving from that Newtonian idea that there's a machine and that everything is a reaction to something else. And we're moving to this space. And I'm not even using language correctly to say we're moving to the space. We are the space. We've just been trying to make ourselves into something we're not by trying to fit into an objective experience. And that's why it feels so miserable to try to live as if you are an object, because you're not. A caterpillar is simply a butterfly that's resistant to dissolving. It's a butterfly. It just hasn't accepted yet that that's what it is. And the minute it has the willingness, it becomes the cocoon from which the butterfly emerges. And that experience of dissolving and becoming the cocoon from which the butterfly emerges, that, the caterpillar has no capacity to see what's going to happen. And as a caterpillar, as an object, we want to have a predictable experience. That's what the brain intelligence is for. The brain intelligence is for reading the environment to say, if you walk in that direction, you'll get there more quickly than if you walk in this direction. But the brain intelligence cannot see the butterfly. So every time we ask brain intelligence to guide the ship, it always turns the ship back around to the place where we started from. And that's why we experience life as dull or boring or depressing or upsetting or hopeless, because we are letting a caterpillar tell us that we're only ever caterpillar. And while there's nothing wrong with caterpillar, you're not a caterpillar. That's everything. The reason that we're together, the reason that you're here, the reason you care, the reason this message speaks to you, the reason that you are willing to come onto these calls for 9 freaking weeks is because you aren't a caterpillar. You know that you're not a caterpillar. You want people to remind you you're not a caterpillar, because by golly, if you have to live as a caterpillar, you just don't want to do it. It's no fun. So that's why we're together, because caterpillars, that's not what you are. and that knowing is coming in many forms, one of which is our experience together. So so just take that in. Take in your butterflyness, the nature of your butterflyness, and take in the fact that as quantum energy, as the energy of all possibilities, there is not a personality. There is not a person/personality that is the central organizer, doer, or controller. And so the resistance that we experience in moving out of the caterpillar into the butterfly is that in order to relinquish our caterpillar identity, we are relinquishing what we think we're controlling. We think we are actually controlling this objective experience, and we're not even controlling this. We are not in control. As my Buddhist teacher says, everything leans on everything. You did not make yourself. Nothing that you did today was done just by you. Everything was the exquisite result of trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of decisions made over by everyone. Just what's going on in your own body right this very second. The number of chemical reactions going on in your body right this very moment. Trillions and trillions and trillions. How many of those chemical reactions are you in control of or aware of or making happen? And so this idea, I mean, just think about that for a moment. So this idea that we are in control of any of this is why we cling to being caterpillars, because when we really consider that and we really get clear about it, it totally freaks our little caterpillar brain out. But you're ready to live in that first list. Because that first list is the list from which you can easily move into the zone. And the zone is our description of living as a quantum being. It's when, like Rosalind was saying, losing track of time, right? In the quantum experience is the opposite of the Newtonian experience. In the quantum experience, you don't remember your body. You actually don't experience your body. Think about when you're doing your creative thing, your dance, your singing, your painting, your cooking, your gardening, you're walking, you are breathing, you're meditating, you're yogaing, you're deep in conversation, whatever it is, you forget. You are no longer confined by time. You lose total track of time. Environment, your environment is no longer a limit. You're not limited by your environment. And then your body, you don't even remember you have a body. You're so aware, you're so much pure consciousness that those limits are no longer your experience. So living a quantum experience is spirit-guided fitness. That's what spirit-guided fitness is. And spirit-guided fitness is not about exercising. It's not about poses. It's about experience. And as we get more and more excited about and, really snobby about what kind of experiences we want to have, like, just get really persnickety. If it doesn't feel good, back up. Head in a different direction. Don't compromise there. Let that shit go. Find your joy. Find that outside of time, body, and environment experience and trust it. Trust that to see you through. That is going to lead us, the information that we receive in that space, because it's whole. So the word healing, the root of healing is wholeness. So wholeness will, because it's whole, will inform everything. So that's why our purpose is to be able to shift our nervous system into that rest, digest, restore, relax, and repair. From that place, that breath place, that nervous system shift, we are setting up the environment that will take us beyond our environment. And that's our responsibility. We don't make things happen, but we can create the environment which is conducive to shifting from caterpillar to butterfly. We want to be butterfly ready all the time, as often as we can be. So, okay, let me just make sure. Okay, so no one else had anything else to say. So it's 8:13. We're going to finish up, but I'm going to give you your ask and task right now for this week. My ask is that you spend time every day this week until we meet next week, writing down possibilities. I've been doing this. I've been writing down 100 possibilities a day. Yule's been doing possibilities. I have to tell you, writing down possibilities is so much fun. I get so happy. I feel this incredible momentum as I write these possibilities. And I'm starting to I started writing possibilities about what I want to write about and all these things, these ideas that I've had in my mind, like what kind of world we could live in. That was some of the possibilities I was writing about this morning. It was so fun to just think about, what's possible with animals and plants. And I was just going into all these amazing possibilities. And our minds are going all the time. They don't turn off. Have you noticed that? Like, even if you go to sleep, your mind doesn't. It's dreaming. It doesn't go to sleep. You do. So we might as well make it butterfly ready. Okay. That's what I got. I love you all so much. So next week is our last week. And if, whatever holiday you celebrate, I just wish you always enormous joy and brightness And the unexpected, the big, the bold, the new, the unprecedented. I wish all of us an unprecedented experience. And then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And please share your brilliance. Share it on our Facebook page. And just peace, love, and blessings to everybody. I am so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing this journey. Thanks for being here. I love you all so much. You're what's going to change and are changing the whole thing. You are the evolutionary ones that are shifting us. So I love you. Yay. Thank you. Love you, Esther. Love you, Kathy. And Yule, how is my beloved feeling after surgery? He's doing very, very well, incredibly well, full of possibilities. And that's really, really cool. It's amazing. Thank you, Karina. Love you so much. He's full of possibilities. It's amazing. I'm not surprised. It's just so much fun to see how it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your history. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what, people of your particular ethnicity, this is the, you get this sickness or that thing. None of that. We're already, we just spent an hour talking about time, environment, and body. We're transcending it. So it's so amazing to watch someone overcome the world. It's just incredible. So thank you for asking. And I love you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week. And enjoy, however you celebrate, enjoy the living daylights out of it. Namaste. So bowing our head to our heart, because our head is very useful and our heart is the guide. Love you so much. Good night.